Hey guys, so I have been playing, I should say, all day. I kind of had this idea for some tabs for a swap in a group that I'm in, and I was trying to think of something different than just like regular tabs, right? And I am a big planner. I have a traveler's notebook, and like little magnetic tabs are kind of big in that community, right? So I was like, well, I kind of want to make some magnetic tabs that I can use in my journals. So I made a few different, kinds, obviously regular tabs, but they're all just magnetic tabs. So I use like sheet magnetic material that you can buy in the sheets, and they just snap right on so they don't fall off. They're so cute. So I thought I'd pop on here and kind of show you how I was doing this. So to what I used to make the magnetic part of this, I've had these business cards, these business card magnets, I don't even know, in my drawer for a very long time. I don't even know why I originally bought them. But I had them, like many of us do. We just have stuff. I don't even know. But lucky for me, because it worked for this. So you'll need some sort of like sheet magnetic something. And I had gotten like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of, that was supposed to be magnetic stuff, but it wasn't very strong, like at all. It wouldn't even hold through one sheet of paper. So luckily I found these. So you'll need magnetic sheets and then just paper and, some punches. These are just with circle punches. These are some dies that I have. Let me grab them real quick. I can show you. Are these dies here? I believe these are Spellbinders dies. And I had originally used this, but I found an easier way, and I'll show you. So, yeah, so I had those, and then I even used like this punch, and I'll show you how you can use your punches to create them as well. So, I think we'll start with the round ones because they're the easiest by far. All of us have some sort of circle punch in our repertoire. So we'll start with those. And you can do any size. These are, and, oh, here's the other thing. So you have to, have magnets, right? You can buy those. But these are just scrap papers. This one was scored for a project, but it was the wrong size. So you can use your scraps to do this, which is awesome. So I'm sorry if you can hear my boys yelling. They are playing NBA and not happy that one of them is not winning. You can imagine. So let me scoot some of these over. So for the circle ones, like this one, these are all just different sizes. But they're all essentially, you make them all the same way, with the, magnets on the inside, same thing. So what we're going to do first is with these magnets, they come, as sheets. Hold on. Let me pull a couple out and show you. So they have an adhesive on the back. Already, which is awesome because you don't need any glue for this. And when you put them together face to face, they kind of like skip around. And I think that's just the polarity of the magnet. So I don't know if you can hear that, but it'll snap to where it wants to, kind of magnetize, I guess you could say. So that's important because I found that if I didn't find where the magnet wanted to lay before I cut it, then when I tried to, put them on this, they would repel rather than attract. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting these to make sure that you do that. So this is one that I already made one out of, so we're going to start with this. And I'm going to use a 1 1/4 inch circle because it's the largest one that I have, and it'll be the easiest to show. But you could do the same exact process. You know, maybe it depends on how much magnet paper you have left. I think when I did this, when I made these circles before, let me see if I can find a scrap of it. Oh, here it is. Yay. So when I made it before, this is what it looked like. This is what was left. So I got 2 1 1/4 inch, 1 1 inch, 2 3/4 inch, and 2 tiny little 5/8 inch circles. And so there's really not a lot of waste as far as the magnet's concerned. You can kind of get away with it. If you can find good 8.5 by 11, then, you know, you've got a lot more material, but this is a little more good. So to start, what I'm going to do is just punch a circle, and they're together. Remember, keep them together so you can, so, you know, that's where they're attracted. They're in love this way. We want to keep them in love that way. And you're just going to cut through both. Like so. Now they're still together. They're still in love. We're going to work with that. I am going to grab a piece of scrap. I'll just use this one. This is a cut off from a file folder. We'll use this. That will be nice. I'm going to grab my bone folder and move the punches out of the way. And I'm just going to make sure that this is really nice and creased. And then I'm going to take my same 1 1/4 inch, but when I put it in, I'm not going to cut it completely. Let me see if I can get a little closer. I'm going to leave a little gap. See that gap right there? So the punch is not going to cut the paper there. It'll stay attached. And you can make that as thin or as thick as you want. You know, obviously the thinner you make it, the less stable, I guess it's going to be. But then you just want to cut that out. We'll do that size. Why not? Whoop. So there's that. So you can see the punch didn't cut the fold. So we've got our little doohickey. That's the proper term. Now, because we didn't cut this at a full 1 1/4, we have to trim the side of this down. And I have also found that you want to leave a little bit of a gap. You don't want to run it all the way up to the crease. You want to leave a little bit of a gap so that it can fold properly. If you go all the way up, then the two magnets will pull on this paper and it kind of pulls the magnets apart so they can't really grip well, I guess. So you can cut it as like an exact science. I usually just use my scissors and estimate, you know, about how far down you want to go. You can always trim it more, but hold these tight so that they stay together. And then we are just going to trim off a little sliver like that. And then you can kind of hold it up and see, yeah, that looks good. You know, it'll close nicely. Yeah. So on this one, I am not going to do this particular step, but on some of the others, I'll show you. Like this one is just coffee dyed paper, just copy paper, so it's pretty thin. So I used a piece of washi tape to go across that fold so that, you know, over time as you're opening and closing, it has some reinforcement on that thin paper. I did it on the ones that I use scrapbook paper on as well. I don't even know if you can see that one. I just put like a thin strip of washi to reinforce it. The file folders, they're pretty heavy duty, so I didn't do it on any of the file folder ones. So I'm not going to do it on this one, but keep that in mind. If you do it on regular copy paper, even a lot of scrapbook papers, even if it's thicker scrapbook paper, if you work it open and close, those fibers start to break down. So it's probably a good idea to put a piece of washi tape down on there. And you can't even, you're not going to see it. So I was using this one because I don't really like it that much. So I didn't care that I was using it and no one would ever see it because it's not my favorite. So I just peeled off the backing on these sheets, and we are going to place it on our little doohickey. Isn't that what I said it was? And then you can use your bone folder to make sure that it's really pressed down. If you don't get it, you know, it should match up perfectly because we used the same punch to punch them both. If for some reason you don't get it lined up just right, you can always trim around the edge. So I'm going to pull off the other backing. Maybe. There we go. So I'll pull off the other backing. Oh, there's a little piece right there. And then just fold this over. And again, it should line up perfect. You can ink before you put the magnet on if you want. You can ink after. You could not ink at all. And then I'm just going to press this down. Now on some of the papers, I've also found that you kind of have to rework this crease because if the paper is thicker, it'll want to, you know, pop open, obviously. So if you just push that crease back down after you get your magnets on, the magnets don't have to work so hard to stay closed, right? But there you go. You can, let me grab another little card. There's a little card. You just pop it on there and it stays on. You got a cute little tab. You could put, you know, a little Denison label on that. I mean, you could do anything with it after this, but how cute is that? Now, I don't know how many pieces of paper this would go through, to be honest with you. I doubt it would be very many. Let me see if I can get a few sheets. So I'm just going to grab a few Project Life cards because I got them here. This is 3 of them. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it holds. It's not like super tight. I guess it would all depend on the type of magnet that you got, right? But it holds through. I mean, it's not moving at all, so let's do 3. That's not bad. And especially if you're just going to put it on one piece of paper, that's cute, right? So that's how you do the circle ones. To do the other styles, it is essentially the exact same thing. This one with this punch, I did the same way. But when I put the paper in, you know, I only cut it. Oh, well, that's not going to show you. I didn't cut it all the way. So that I folded the paper in half and then I just put it up to there. And did the same with the magnets. But the magnets you don't fold. You just, you know, put them in like this. Well, you can see I did this one. So I just cut it off the edge there. Made sure that these edges were lined up. And then just stuck it in that far into the punch to cut that off. So that way I would have the right shape for the bottom. So there was that one. The dies were a little different. So this one, come off there. So this one, I had some scrap magnet left over. So I just used strips because I just felt like it would be too much to try and do it in there. And the magnet holds pretty well. There's not a whole lot of like surface area for the magnet on that one, but it does fine. On these, I actually ran the magnetic strip. Oh my gosh, I can't even get it open. Maybe. There we go. I actually ran the magnetic strip. You can see where my cutting plates, can you see that? Yeah. You can see where the cutting plate like left an impression. So I actually ran the magnetic strip through my die cut machine with this die. And then singly. So it cut out, they were connected. You know, it cut out this shape, but in the magnetic strip. So I did that twice. And then I cut, you know, so then they were married like this, but cut out in this shape. And then I just cut them in half. So I ended up with 2 sets of magnetic backing. And then made 2 labels. So I just cut the paper using this die, like normal. But the circles are by far the easiest, and they're super cute. And all of us have, you know, scraps laying around. I guess I could show you. Here, I'll just show you. I'll show you how to do the other one. So here's my little die cutter. I use the heck out of this thing. I have, what is that? The Spellbinders Platinum, the big one, you know, the big imaging. But I'm always making this little stuff. So I got this, and I don't know if I've touched my large one. Like, I couldn't even tell you how long it's been since I touched the thing. I just haven't needed it. Or, you know, yeah, I mean, I haven't needed it. So for this, I was a little more weary because I didn't know exactly how I was going to get them to line up, because these, when they stick together, they don't stick squarely together. That's not how they're in love. Their love relationship is a little off. So for me, when I'm eyeballing it, it made it easier for me to trim. And I'll show you why. So I just trimmed off that little lip. So this is always going to be my top for both of these. So make sure you remember that. And I'm just going to lay this one over to the side here. Then for my cutting, I'm just going to stick this up here to the top. And whatever your spacing is, just remember it, because you want to do the exact same thing. You want to keep this in the exact same position for your other piece, is the point I guess I'm trying to make. So I'm just going to tape this down, and I am going to run this through. You know, this magnetic paper is a little thicker, so you kind of got to push it. It's a little thicker than paper, obviously. So I ran it through a couple of times just to make sure that I got it through. And it looks like it did. Yay! So there's one. And we are going to do the exact same thing. So again, like I said, you need to kind of remember your spacing, right? Because we want these to be in love. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is my top, and just kind of eyeball that's, you know, similar spacing. And do it again. And I think 2 times is enough. You can run it through a third, I guess, if you wanted to. Just for safety measure, but there you go. So then we have these. Oh, I need to pop him out. Come on out, little dude. Okay. So there's those. And yay, you can pop them back together and see that they're fitting nicely. I will say, you know, these dies aren't meant for something that thick. I don't think that the magnet is, it's kind of, I can't tell if you can see. Can you see that it's like, oh yeah, you can see it right there. See how it's a little frayed? And I think that's just because this magnetic paper is a little thicker. Hang on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. The boys were getting a little too heated. I'm sure you could probably hear it. Literally screaming about a gang. Who else has to deal with that? Drives me insane. So anyways, like I was saying, I think because the magnetic stuff is a little thicker, you know, it just doesn't cut as clean as it does paper. But it's still, I mean, it works. It's fine. So there's that. Let's see. Now I just need to pick a paper. Kind of like this one. I have this one. And I've got some music paper. I think I want to do this one. So, oh good. It's skinny enough. So I'm just going to cut out one of these. And run that through. God, I love this little thing. And this we don't need to run more than once because it's just paper. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to, but you like how I store my washi tape? I guess we could do another one because I've got 2 of them. I might as well while I got it out. And let's do it this way. That'd look all right, right? This, yeah, no. This way. I'm just going to cut this down. Maybe. Put that to the side. See? Got our little tab. Alright. Let's do this one too. These are so cute. I was so excited when I saw those magnet business card things in my drawer. I said, oh, I can play with my idea. And clearly I've made so many of them today. It's been a lot of fun. Kind of playing around with them all. So I can get rid of that. Put tape back. Get some stuff out of the way. I even tried to do this with another punch. It was a Tim Holtz. Oh, here, I'll just show you. I got it down here in the drawer. This one. This punch. So I got this to use with the little kits. You know, they sold those shield-shaped charms. And then you'd put the picture in and put that little, like, plastic bubble thing on top. But look at this. It won't, can you see that? It won't close. It won't punch. Look. It won't go past, see? It gets stuck. It won't actually punch anything. And I've never used it before. I just opened it and so, I don't know. If you have that punch and you know what I'm doing wrong, let me know because I'm pretty irritated with it. Because I thought it was really cute. Now I can't even do anything with it. I did email Sizzix, actually, their customer service to say, hey, what's going on with this thing? Because that can't be normal, right? So now that I've got these punched out, the die does put a little score, but I always go back and score it again just to make sure that the paper is, you know, I really want to break those fibers so that when I fold it, it doesn't crack. And some paper does it anyways. I think it just depends on the quality of paper that you have. And, you know, sometimes these scrapbook papers can be a lower quality. And you know what I'm saying? You fold it and it breaks and such is life. But with this, I'm going to use this little washi. So let me find my end. And but it doesn't have to go all the way across. But just a little bit to kind of strengthen that fold so that as you fold it over and over and over again, you're not having an issue where if it does start to crack because of the paper, that it's going to, crack in half. It'll at least still be stuck together, It won't break. Oh my goodness, can I get this to go on here? There we go. And just burnish those down as well. So after you got that on there, you can fold it. And fold it right in half. And crease that. And do the same with this one. Try to get them to match up as well as possible. I mean, they should be perfect, right? Because we use that die, but sometimes my folding skills can be a little challenged, and it doesn't. So I've got to work it. Here we go. Now, for these, we're not going to fold these in half. These two are a couple, and these two are a couple, and we are not trying to break up. This isn't Judge Judy in divorce court or something. So, because, again, we need to kind of separate these in the middle of this, we're going to leave a bit of a gap like that. See how there's a gap in there? That's how we're going to cut these. So you can see the score mark from the die, and we're just going to go down a ways from that. Again, you can make this a little more perfect if you want it straight. Like you can see on this one, I did not cut it straight because I just used my scissors, and it's a little wonky. But it's still works. It's functionable. So I am just going to cut straight across there. And my magnet's kind of moved a little bit, so I might have to trim that one. Yeah, see how it's a little off? When you're trimming it, it might pull itself, so either hold it really good or just trim it after. And then I'm going to hold it up here and see if I've cut enough, if I've got a big enough gap. And I think I might need a little more off than that. So I'm going to trim a little bit more. Try and hold them a little tighter this time. So now I've got a little bit more trimmed off. Now let's see. Yeah, that's a good gap. I mean, I don't know how long that is or how wide. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch coming from the crease, maybe. So once you've got them trimmed, actually I'm going to ink this too. Why not? I did all the other ones. Why not this one? But I had a lot of fun with this project. Like so much fun. I wish I had more shape punches that I could like experiment with. I mean, because the possibilities are absolutely endless. If you had a heart punch, you could use a heart. If you had, you know, or different dies even, like I said, I showed you that one where I used, this was the tag punch, you know, made that one. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one while I got the ink out. Play around with it and see, you know, what shapes you come up with, and, you know, use what you have, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because you can, with this particular project, you can just use whatever you have, even if it's just circles. The circles are adorable. So use those. But I love this. I love that. I'm going to make so many of these. I can't even talk, but I'm going to make a ton of these. All right. So now we'll just peel off the backing on one of these, maybe. Let me get it closer. Oh my goodness. There we go. So we'll take off the backing and we will just place this on here. And I'm just kind of using my fingers to help feel if I've got it lined up right. And like I said, if you don't get it lined up perfect, it's not a big deal, because you can use your scissors and just trim it a little bit. It's no big deal. Like I need to trim this, so you can just trim off a little bit of the magnet. Clean it up. Actually, I need some little scissors to go around this. Sorry if I'm off camera on this. I'm trying to like, it's hard to see. It's really hard to see. Let me just clean that up a little bit. And then I'll put this back on because I want them to match. And then take off the backing. It's really nice that it has that sticky backing and you don't have to use any glue. And then I'll just fold this over. And I'm kind of holding the magnet and the edge of the paper so I can make sure that it, you know, folds over right. Here we go. And just really make sure that I push that adhesive onto the paper. And there's that one. How cute is that? Look. Boop. And if it's like popping off on you, sometimes that paper just needs a minute to learn its role, I guess, to kind of accept that fold, because the paper, if it tries to, you know, like this, see how it's starting to, even when you don't, it's trying to pop back open, right? So until that fold really gets trained to be closed, it might try to do that, but it's still you know, holds fine. So here's the other half. Again, I'm just going to make sure that the magnet, you know, pieces are lined up. If you see some that need to be trimmed a little bit, you can go ahead and do that. And I'm also kind of wondering if maybe that's because I ran it through the die cut a couple of times. If it shifted at all, it might have made it a little wonky. So that might have been that too. So, and then I'm just going to come down a ways from the score mark that the die left and try to hold it and cut straight this time, because it was not straight last time and it moved on me. Okay, that looks good. I think I want to trim up this edge a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do it before I even put it on the paper. Just clean it up a little bit. I've got little like shavings of magnet everywhere. And then I'll hold this up to see if I've got a large enough gap and if it'll close okay. I think that'll be all right. So I'm going to remove the backing and place my magnet on here. Flip it over, take a look. Remove that one so I can really see if it's this magnet or that magnet that looks funky to me. But I think that one looks pretty good. I might trim this edge a little bit. This one right here. Like I said, I think it's just because the magnet is so thick for the die, maybe, that it was causing issues. I'm not sure. The punches have no problem at all. None at all. They cut them clean every time. But I think just because the magnets are so thick, it maybe doesn't cut it as cleanly. I don't know. Maybe. Take off the backing on that one after I've lined them up again. Flip this over and close that down. Push all that adhesive down really good. And I think I need to trim that one up a little bit too. It's just these curvy edges seem to be a little off. I don't know why, but they are. Clean all of this up a little bit. And there's that one. You can go back in and reinforce that crease. Like I said, if the paper's wanting to pop open, it'll kind of pull on those magnets and make them work extra hard. But the ones that I've had like sitting on here for the day, look how cute that is. Look. So cute. So, yeah, you can really get creative with the punches that you have and making decorable. The circles are really easy. And, you know, we all have circle punches laying around. And the size doesn't matter. That's what's great. You can make them any size you want. These itty bitty tiny ones are so cute. Look how cute this little one is. He's just a little guy. But he still holds like really well. Because that surface area of the magnet, there's still, you know, quite a bit of magnet there. So the magnet still holds really well. And you could, you know, what I love about these is they're not going to damage your page. You know, like sometimes a paper clip will catch on your page and you don't have to glue them so you can move them around. If you have a planner, these would be awesome. You know, because then you could put today or this week or, you know, whatever you wanted to, this month. I mean, to-do list, you could just mark all of your things on this. Something else that I will be using these for is in my Bible journaling, my art Bible journaling. Again, because I can move them around. If there's a certain thing that I'm wanting to look at that day, you could use these as bookmarks. How cute would that be? I need to get a book. Hang on. Okay, this isn't a book that I'm reading. Obviously, it's a first course in algebra book from 1924. So clearly I'm not reading this, but if you were reading a book, hold on. How cute would this be as a bookmark? Just pop it on whatever page you leave off on and voila. Look! It's so cute. You have yourself a little bookmark in your book. Okay, I'm even more excited about these. These make me happy. I hope they make you happy too. They're super easy. Please have fun, you know, making them. If you have questions, let me know. If you do make some, tag me on Instagram at Twigs and Tomes. I would love to see what you guys come up with and how you make them and what shapes you have. And I don't know. These just made me really excited. So here I am at 10:30 filming this for you because they made me happy. And I think they'll make you happy too. All right, guys. Till next time. I'll see you later. Bye.